Today, we're going to explore using attention to the eyes and gentle movements to help promote awareness and relaxation. And, these can be good practices for to slip into your day where you've been using the computer or the phone a lot. And they also, stand as an alternative to breathing focus practices. There's ways to find more comfort and more relaxation through the eyes and the face. So I invite you to sit in a way that's very comfortable, feeling the support of your feet on the floor. You could try sitting forward, feeling the support from the sits bones and the pelvis with the spine long, or sitting back and taking support from the back of the chair. But again, with the spine long, so that your head can sit lightly at the top of your spine and feel comfortable and supported. And, and of course, a large amount of sensory information we use comes in through our eyes. Light and visual information stimulates the optic nerve and is also stimulates the muscles of the eyes as we direct our gaze and our focus to our eyes. So checking that your head is comfortable as possible at this moment. Make a few light movements of turning the head side to side, then nodding your head just a little, a few times. Nodding your head, turning your head, and maybe tilting your head toward each ear, tilting each ear toward each shoulder, just a small amount, and inviting the shoulders to soften and rest. And what's happening with your breathing? Inviting less strain and more ease in your breathing, if you can find that. And I invite you to gently close your eyes if you haven't already. And if it's at all possible for you, I invite you to keep your eyes closed for the rest of this practice. So bring your attention to your eyes. What sensations do you find there? Can you sense the touch of the eyelids on the eyes? Bring your attention to each eye in turn. Maybe you can even sense where each upper and lower eyelid meets on each side. Just notice and feel. And what is the weight of each eye as it sits in the eye socket? Sometimes one eye might seem a little larger or heavier, or one eye might just be easier to sense. Just noticing and feeling your eyes. And then what kind of muscular work is going on in your forehead, your temples, your cheeks, your jaw. So we're going to do a practice now called palming, which doesn't involve pressing the hands against the eyes, as the name might suggest, but instead using the hands to form a pocket over the eyes to block out some of the light and help calm the optic nerves and the muscles of the eyes. So begin by vigorously rubbing your hands together to warm the palms and softening the hands. And also rubbing the back of the hands to warm the whole hand, warming, softening. You might interlace and uninterlace the fingers a few times, just gently finding a way to soften and warm the hand. That's good. Now, bring your hands to your face in this way, resting the base of your hands on your cheekbones with kind of curved palms, and bringing the pinky sides of your hands to each side of the nose, and using the index finger side of the hand and the thumb side of the hand to come around and block out the light as much as possible. And you might find that you can cross your fingers over your forehead to help bring the hands in close without pressing on the eyelids, without pressing on the eyes, and finding a way to block out as much light as possible. Warming the eyes, warming the muscles of the eyes, softening the eyes. And see if you can find a way to be comfortable doing this. You might let the upper arms rest on your chest a bit. You might lean forward a little bit to make that more possible. Or you might even organize yourself to rest your elbows on the desk in front of you if you have a desk there, adjusting your body to be comfortable and finding a way to cup your hands over your eyes softly and blocking out as much light as possible while still being comfortable. And notice what's happening in your field of vision. This is the activity of the optic nerve. There may be some overall dark color, or there may be areas of different colors moving, swirling, maybe points of light making patterns, or some mixture of darker and lighter, quieter and more active. Whatever you notice, noticing the activity in your visual field right now with your eyes gently covered. Now, if there's an area or a circle in the visual field that seems a little darker or a little calmer, I invite you to imagine looking into that area gently and imagining that area could get even a little darker or a little bigger. Softening the eyes and looking into anywhere that seems a little darker or a little calmer. Imagine looking into that and imagining it getting a little darker, bigger. Notice that you're breathing, what's happening in the visual field. That's good. And now, keeping your eyelids closed, gently closed, just float your arms and hands down and rest them in your lap on the desk in front of you. And a few times now, begin to use the muscles around the eyes and in the face to squeeze your eyes, not as strongly as you can. Using the eyelids and the muscles in the orbits of the eyes, and press your eyes into the sockets comfortably, scrunching around your eyes and your face a little bit. Don't do anything that's uncomfortable. Breathing, and then, of course, releasing that squeezing, and doing that a few times. Squeezing the eyes and unsqueezing the eyes, and then letting the eyes and the face relax comfortably a few times in between. Good. Pause and take a few breaths. Was there any difference between the two eyes as you squeezed them? Good. And do check in and make sure your head and neck are comfortable. Make some small movements Adjust your sitting a little if you care to. So the eyes can turn very fast, but today let's just begin with some very slow, very small movements of gliding your eyes a little side to side, as if to look a little to the left and a little to the right, keeping the head gently still, gliding your eyes in the sockets, sensing for the movement against the eyelids, sensing the movement of the back of the eyes in the sockets. And if there are any places going very small, not slamming your eyes into the corners, into the nose, just doing a small range of movement in the middle, gliding. And if there are any places where there are little jumps, little glitches, little hesitations in the movement of your eyes, then go even more slowly through those places, making a few movements of gliding the eyes and then resting. Taking a few conscious breaths. Good. And still with your eyelids closed, bring your eyes as if to look forward and just very gently turn your eyes up a little bit as if to look up. Don't strain and don't turn them as far as they can go. Very slowly, very gently, and then turn your eyes as if to look down a bit. Comparing how does each eye turn. Maybe one turns a little further, but just let them turn as they want to. And can you make the movement of gently turning your eyes up and down, almost like they're floating up and floating down? Can you make that smoother and more comfortable? Good. And then resting your eyes again. And then I invite you to just imagine that moment where you nod off to sleep, where maybe you're watching a movie or reading a book or going to sleep in your bed. And as you fall asleep, what might happen with your eyes? Maybe they soften and turn a little bit in your head. So starting with the eyes as if to look forward, and then finding, is it possible to evoke that feeling of when the eyes would soften and relax at the moment of going to sleep, and maybe your face and jaw relaxes, maybe your breathing softens. Good. So now slowly beginning to pick your arms up and rub your hands together, warm your hands again, rubbing the palms and the back, softening and warming the hand, and then bring your hands to your face in that way where the base of the hands are resting on the cheekbones and the pinky side of the hands are beside the nose, the fingers are crossed over the forehead, and you bring the hand around, not touching the eyelids, so you can make these little pockets of darkness. You can make these little pockets of darkness and noticing again what happens to the visual field, what's happening now, how the colors, the activity or the quietness. And just noticing if anything's changed, and also if there is any area that seems a little darker, a little quieter, you might imagine looking into that area again and inviting even more darkness, or inviting that area to get a little larger, breathing, your arms and hands comfortable, and noticing the visual field and inviting calming. Good. And again now, keeping your eyelids closed, and gently float your arms and hands down to rest them, sensing your eyes, the weight of your eyes, the contact of the eyelids, the work around your eyes and in your face. What's the whole sensation of your eyes and face and breathing? And then as you're ready, think about letting your eyes open just a little bit. Let them flutter open a little bit and maybe reclose. And just very slowly, in a number of times, letting a little more light into your eyes. As much as possible, just inviting shapes and colors and light in without looking hard at a particular object until your eyes are open. And after this practice, give yourself a few moments for your eyes to focus before you stand and walk or do anything moving through space. You might make sure your eyes are open. You can feel your feet on the floor before you begin to walk. And that is our practice for today. I invite you to slowly come back to the room here as you want. And thank you very much.